Hello, everyone. GM. Just doing a final check on YouTube, making sure that we're live and we all look fantastic. All right, we are live. And we are also on Twitter. We're looking forward to connecting with everyone today. Yes, we are live, Little Wizard. Very nice to meet you. We have some very exciting things to talk to you about today. We have some really cool developments at Metis that we can finally talk about. We're very excited for the next push that we have as a whole ecosystem, and we're very excited to finally be able to give the reasonings behind some of these things, explain a bit more about what we're envisioning for the future, and basically just kicking everything off. We'll give a few minutes for people to trickle in. I'd say probably in about 3 minutes-ish, we can actually get a proper start. But for the early joiners, you guys can get a chance to get a bit, I guess, more comfortable with us. So, Elena, how have you been?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Yeah, today is the first day I see snow in Toronto, so very joyful. Christmas is coming.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And Kevin, very exciting to have you back on a live stream. It's been a while since we've been able to host you. You've been super busy. We've all been super busy, but it's very exciting to have you here, and I'm sure community is at least as excited as I am. How have you been, Kevin?
Yeah, it's all been great. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. You know, I think we as a special squad for Metis ecosystem, we are exploring a new direction, and yeah, I'm happy to be here to report our progress and the synergy, among all the ecosystem projects that we have been building. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I really look forward to picking your brains a little bit today. Of course, as part of the team, I do get to talk to our dear founders once in a while, but it's not very often that I guess to host AMAs or live streams. I haven't done that in a while, but hosting our founders, it's always a treat because now I can ask probing questions without the being at a work setting, right? So this is going to be exciting for everyone, I think. So to everyone who's trickling in, today is basically about the new proposal that we've sent. It was a governance proposal, and this is a bit of a big one, a major milestone for us in actually unifying the whole Metis ecosystem. It has 3 key components: optimizations to the decentralized sequencers, mining rewards. It has a new, brand new and fancy ecosystem alignment and growth reserve for strategic uses in aligning the ecosystem. And of course, last but not least, very exciting announcement that LazAI is using Metis as the native gas token. So a very exciting proposal. And in it, there's been quite a lot of details. And as, of course, any large proposal, it has a lot of details that we could talk about, give some contextual information, and really showcase the reasoning and potential behind the actual proposal. So, and of course, there's been a lot of questions from the community. So we'd like to explain everything to you, get everyone on board in terms of what we're actually looking to achieve from it. So I think we can actually finally get started. Hopefully enough people have trickled in, and if not, this will be on our YouTube, and this will also be accessible from X as well. So please, if you haven't been able to catch the beginning, or if you're not able to catch the end, then you can always jump back. So that is why we're here today. And another thing, so when we say it's about ecosystem alignment, it really is about unifying the whole ecosystem, and that means across not just Metis and LazAI, but also the other significant networks within our ecosystem, such as Goat Network and ZKM. This proposal really is the first major step in making sure that everything is unified into one kind of value system. and that we're able to move in an agile way, basically together, right? And not have us completely fragmented or siloed. And that proposal, the voting is live for it now. It will finish November 3rd on Monday. So please go check on Snapshot. We have the links live on our blogs, on our CEG, on Twitter as well. So please go check that out when you can. Now, for our esteemed guests, can we run through a quick introduction, please? Let's start with Elena, because you're next to me in the on the screen, and then we can move on to Kevin.
Thank you, Daniel. Hello, our beloved community, Metis L2 community, and I hope others joined us as well. My name is Elena Sinelnikova, as you probably know. I've been with Metis since the very beginning of the inception of this idea of the project. So it was about, Kevin, I think it's for 2018 or something like this. Yeah,
Yes.
Since 2018, yes, and that's it became my life. And here I am today. And thank you so much for being with us that long as well.
Thank you very much, Elena. Everyone, round of applause, please. And Kevin, dear founder, one that we've sorely missed and excited to have again. Quick intro, please.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm the one of the co-founder of Metis. Since we are decentralizing the whole network, the whole ecosystem, we're expanding to different, various business areas. And I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Go Network under the help of CKM. So, yeah, I can explain more of our progress and the alignment in the live stream. Yeah, but thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And everyone, I'll be acting as your host today. My name is Daniel Kwok. I am the CCO, Chief Commercial Officer for Metis, as well as the Head of Marketing for Laz AI. It's a very exciting time to have such high-powered and talented people, not just in the guests, but also in the community. And we've got decent numbers flowing in, so I look forward to finally getting some good information across to you all, not just in written form, but finally in voice and video. All right, then. Now, let's kick things off. First question, Elena. This is basically going to set the whole setting for the rest of the AMA. In your own words, could you quickly give an overview of the proposal and its primary goal?
Thank you so much. I probably have to start a little bit from the background. So if you guys been with us as long as we are, you probably know that we are building an economy. So it's not only the one project, but we're building an entire economy. We always talked about it. We always talked about the Metis vision, that economy, decentralized autonomous companies. And you see now these are forming, or of course already formed, and they are coming closer together. So you, in the course of us as a Metis Foundation, coordinating the birth of these autonomous organizations, so now our work came to the fruition. So you see that we not only have a Metis L2, and of course this is our main beloved network, but we also now have Laz AI, which is our data layer for AIs. We have a ZKM that is one of the top in the industries of the ZK proof of ZKVMs, and Kevin can talk about that. Goat network, which is Bitcoin layer 2, and it is all of these companies are quite innovative. All of these companies are autonomous, actually, and led by the separate teams. There is people that wearing different hats and sometimes work for, like for example, with Metis L2 and Laz AI, but some of them are completely separate teams, and therefore they are very autonomous. Our goal was always to bring them closer together, and with this proposal, you will see that's how it is happening, how it is rolling out. So it is we are aligning now all these autonomous organizations together into a one economy, and that's what this proposal, like part of this proposal, is about. Of course, for this alignment, and of course because we are unifying economies, and as Daniel mentioned, LAS.ai, for example, team made the decision that Metis is going to be their gas token. So we do need to reflect it in our tokenomics. And therefore, the part of the proposal is this economic optimization. So we are relocating its existing reserve of the builder mining into the alignment and growth reserve. So basically, one reserve become two, and therefore the eager, the alignment and growth reserve is being born. In order to make it happen, we do need to optimize the incentives for decentralized sequencers. And as you see, like our decentralized sequencer has been in operation quite a while, they stabilized, and we are optimizing to make it sustainable, and therefore the refinement of incentives are going to happen if we all agree with this proposal. So yes, so we are reallocating existing reserve and refining the decentralized sequencer incentives. Though we are keeping it still above the industry average of, like if you compare it to the other L2, we're still above these incentives. And I think the most important part of this proposal is to invite you guys as the whole community into a discussion, because we are economy and we cannot be separate from our community. So, and that's why you are here today with us. So that's the, in a nutshell. I'm sorry it was long, but that's what this proposal is about.
All right. Thank you very much, Elena. That is a great explanation, and I think we can pick out the key points at the very least on the specific actions or the proposals of the governance vote. And that is, again, one is the change to the mining rewards from 20 to 15%. Two is the establishment of the ecosystem alignment and growth reserve. That's 20% of tokens taken from the mining rewards that we freed up with the reduction in the rewards. And of course, lastly is the LAS.ai using Metis as a gas token, right? And all of that was to basically take that first step in ecosystem alignment, right? And make sure that we can actually get that kind of cohesive flow of value within the whole ecosystem. And that is something that we actually have been working on for quite a while. Everyone's been asking for it, and we're very excited to finally announce it. Now, second and follow-up question to that, Elena, and you can focus on LAS.ai if you'd like as well. What would be the North Star outcome of this proposal? What is it designed to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? And what kind of key results can the community look out for that might either be public or one that we might want to announce?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, in the plans for the 6 to 12 months that you have, right? 6 to 12 months, yes. Oh, I see it on the screen, actually. Okay, yes. So, of course, the LAS.ai Alpha mainnet that is going to be released, and with the Metis as the native gas token, and also we're gonna use the Metis for the validator staking as well. Because yes, LAS.ai will need validators because it is a decentralized AI network. So therefore, the Metis staking become this utility and locked supply. Another one is if you already saw announcement about the XO2, so the payments for AI, online payments. So this will generate the on-chain demand for Metis through, every computation, every inference will require Metis. And of course, every transaction as well on Laz AI. So that's something like AI agent XO2 you're going to see in that period of time. And I like there also will be activities that of course bring goat and zkm together, so that are in the probably maybe Kevin can talk about this. And so but like the Laz AI using Metis as the native gas and the validator staking, and also XO2 is something that is going to happen in the nearest future.
Very exciting. I'm actually very, very much looking forward to the announcement surrounding the whole X402 mystery. That one I'm personally very excited for. I think that's probably one of the most excited I've been, of course, aside from this fantastic governance proposal. So thank you, Elena. That was fantastic. Wrap up of the next 6 to 12 months at minimum. And I promise you, community, we have a lot more cooking in the background. So hopefully we can bring you a lot of exciting news before then. Okay, next question, Kevin. And you can be a bit more specific on GOAT, where you can focus on GOAT for the answer to the question as well. So the community has been asking for a while now about how the value generated from all these different networks actually flows into Metis, and what it means for Metis or Metis holders or Metis community when we go and start GOAT network and we start Laz AI network and all these other projects. So as a bit of a refresher, what benefits do they all bring, especially when bringing them all under one coordinator framework? And how does this strengthen the overall networks and basically not just the individual parts, but the sum of parts as well?
Yeah. So basically, I think what Elena has explained as the first place, that what we're building is an economy. It's not just a social experiment. What we started from initially is to hope to bring the real use case, real user adoption to blockchain, to connect blockchain with the real world. Not just we're here for the fancy words, layer 2 Bitcoin or zk. We're not here. That's not our purpose. So I think that's why when the foundation made the strategic decision in 2023, almost like 3 years ago, that we need to expand to different areas, not just layer 2. We started from our a small research team on the zk side, and eventually it grows to our one of the top zk VM projects in the industry, which is zkM. And also under the help of zkM, we launched GOAT, which is Bitcoin layer 2, who needs zkVM, zkP to verify off-chain transactions. And that's a great demand from the Bitcoin holders, Bitcoin organizations, sovereign countries. So in that approach, actually you can find that we are following our initial vision or dream. Like, we hope to solve the real issue in this industry, bring use case to the whole ecosystem. So I hope all the community can understand our reasoning behind to make all these strategic decisions. So for now, you can see Metis is not just a layer 2, it's a whole ecosystem, spanning among the layer 2 itself, Metis layer 2 itself, Laz AI, GOAT, zkM. And again, we are here to solve the biggest issue that blockchain does not have real users for now. It does not bring true utility to the real economy for now. So that's our reasoning behind. So in this perspective, if you see from this angle, every it's more like we have multiple touch points in different area, and in every area, every field, if you have users, that can be the users of the whole ecosystem. And we hope to build some interlayer to connect all the values, and that's going to be some concrete like constructions or implement, like starting from X402, which is very important to connect not only AI agents but also the Web3 and Web2. We will start from some assets connection between Gold and Metis. That's going to be the start, and eventually we will see more integrations happening among the whole ecosystem. But again, I want to emphasize that all these users, all these assets, although they're spent in different networks, they're all belong to Metis, the whole big Metis ecosystem. Yeah, so I hope I answer your question. But basically, what we're building for now is a whole economy. You can see we have multiple touch points in different areas to reach users, to reach real use cases. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic answer. And I got to be honest, and I'm not saying this just as a team member of Metis, but also because I've been sold on the dream, right? I also believe in that dream of we're innovators, not just to innovate, which happens quite often in blockchain. We're not innovating just to maybe make a bit of money or gain a bit of fame, but we're innovating key important aspects of the blockchain industry, and we're ahead of the curve before it's even kind of required of the industry, right? And I think the biggest kind of showcase of that was ZKM, because we've seen how ZKM played out, and we see how important zero knowledge proofs are becoming in the industry. And ZKM was there before it all happened, right? So it's a dream that I think a lot of us can really get behind. And with Goat Network, really picking up steam recently, I'm very excited to see. And with Laz AI launching its alpha mainnet quite soon, these are all exciting times to be watching out for the Metis ecosystem itself rather than just the individual parts, right?
Yeah. Daniel, I want to add one more point. I understand a lot of community members are asking why Metis are spending so widely into different. I think I answered part of it. Another reason I think from the management perspective, we need dedicated team to implement, to penetrate in certain area. If all the team members, been, spanning in different area, then that's a disaster. I don't think we can deliver this much during the past 3 months. So yeah, I hope community member can understand. We formed a dedicated team, dedicated brand, and we raise fund as well. That's not to, we don't want to use the fund from Metis. We hope to have more funds from outside and dedicated team to implement, to penetrate, and then to have results. With these results, we can now turn back and see how we can work together, how the synergy can work together. So from the management perspective, dedicated team focused on one area. That's the most efficient way to do stuff, to do project. And we have, but basically on the bottom of our hearts, we are one part of the Metis ecosystem. So that's why I think we have this proposal, have this alignment, and we really hope to combine all the product, technology, marketing efforts together, to see how this cycle can yeah, to be honest, this cycle is super hard. A lot of people believe that altcoin season will not come. Altcoin will die. But for us, if we have all this value proposition, building construct during the past few years, I don't think it's gonna vanish. It will bring users, bring a use case through our whole ecosystem. So that's why we are very determined, and also I think the future is still very promising. I don't agree that altcoin gonna die. We will find real use case in different area and bring value back. Yes. Yeah.
100%, Kevin. That was really insightful, actually, into the strategic thinking that goes behind the scenes, and really why we're kind of have these separate brands, right, and why we're having these dedicated teams. But to add a little flavor on top of that, on the risk of going over time, because we have a lot more questions to go through. But really, I mean, how many projects have you seen that tries to do everything, and they fall flat on their face because they've tried to do too much, right? The different innovations that are being brought by the Metis ecosystem have more than enough value to stand on their own as a very successful project. And at that point, instead of cramming it all into one, so that number one, your narrative and the story that you're telling becomes too diluted. You're saying too many things, right? Because you have too many features, or because you have so much to offer. Instead of trying to get this one brand into doing everything, you can now specialize and make sure that they stand on their own as companies, and then you bring it all into one unified ecosystem like we're doing currently, right? So if you actually also look at it from that perspective, it just makes sense from the market standpoint, for not just, okay, why are we starting all these different companies, but also how does this actually make sense, right? In terms of the branding, in terms of the value that's being generated. So thank you very much, Kevin. It reminded me a lot on what we actually need to focus on internally, and gives me things to focus on during my next meetings. All right, so next question, also for Kevin. The proposal and blog mentions some of the key results that we can expect, but we're sparse on the middle steps. Could you explain how the proposal allows Metis to achieve these goals, and what the middle steps look like, and what future initiatives might look like?
Yes. Actually, I agree that there are some middle steps missing. Partially because this large initiative, I think the team still need time to come up with some very concrete details about implementation side. So I believe we will have more details coming out in the future. But basically, I think based on what we have experienced in the past 2 cycles, outcome driven is the goal. We say a lot, but we cannot deliver. Has been proven that's not gonna work. So I think starting from last year, the management team adjustment in Metis side and also in Go side, CCAM side, we have refined our approach that how to plan, how to execute, how to measure the impact, refine, and then expand. So this kind of approach is very mature for now. I think for now, for us, is to focus on how to implement, and then you will see the results eventually. So for now, I don't think I can give very concrete answer for this one, but I want to assure you that we have a right management system and framework to make it happen. Every people will have their SOP, and we have this kind of review and refinement system. So I believe the results can be achieved. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Kevin. That's actually very refreshing to hear, because being C-suite and having done a lot of AMAs and gone to events and whatnot, it's so easy for us to try and say, oh, we have it, but we can't tell you yet. Or, we have these ideas, and then you just kind of, try and make it work. But actually saying that, maybe it's undecided, we have the framework, but, we still have a few steps to go through. And being honest and very confident about that too. And that confidence is backed by the confidence in execution, making and knowing that we have the right management structure. So that was a fantastic answer. And as part of the company, it gives me even more hope. Thank you very much. Elena, next question. Some holders are concerned that tokens moved into the eager could add to market pressure. Could you give a bit of insight into the phased nature of the token allocations and any other checks and balances we actually might have to mitigate this pressure?
Yes. As I said at the beginning, that the alignment and growth reserve is the reallocation of the existing reserve. And there's no new tokens that being created or entering the market. So this total supply of Metis remains unchanged, and it's 10 million. So what is this reserve is planned for is the validator staking ecosystem liquidity programs. These are not to fund existing projects, because they already funded. So that is and that's why we built them at the very beginning, ZKM and Gold and Laz AI, and that's separate teams that are funded by itself. So, but the biggest decision of Laz AI that Metis become the gas token is that's what sparked this. It sparked the change. So most allocation will involve staking or locked position. We don't plan any open market sales. And this, phase structure will help maintain the price stability. Because, to be honest, we all are interested in that. So, we're not harming the ecosystem, because I spent last 7 years of my life here, so it's this is the last thing I want to do. So that's that is for sure. And we are very, very, very careful of how we use Metis tokens. So we have other reserves to to fund the project. So for the Metis token, this reserve is something that is we're not planning to just let go of lightly. That's for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, this one is the one that I guess was asked about quite often in various forms, and we actually have follow-up questions to this to ask again later as well. But yeah, this one is probably the most obvious question that could come from the community, but we really, like Elena said, our livelihoods are also attached to this as well. So whatever risks that we might see, we're all looking at Metis as a long-term project. For example, let's say we intentionally tank Metis, right? And then what happens to GOAT? What happens to Laz AI, right? Those projects die before they really get a chance to get off the ground, and before they really hit their growth stage, and before they can really kind of make a name for themselves, right? If that was the intent from the beginning, I don't think any of the other networks like GOAT, ZKM, or Laz AI would have attached themselves to Metis, and would have just been a completely separate company and forget Metis, right? So,
well, they are kind of completely separate companies. They are. So like so like Goat, for example, have their own token, right? So that's they are separate, but for us it is bringing Goat closer to Metis and using that we are together, we are stronger, and that's the whole idea.
Right, exactly, right. So they wouldn't be considered part of the ecosystem, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if we were going to tank Metis, because that would tank the credibility of Goat, right? So really our core, one of the core plans and the foundation for a lot of it, or at least the supporting foundation for a lot of it, is really having Metis sustain itself as an industry leader in an L2, as an L2, as an ecosystem that can bring that value and share that value with all the others, and in turn receive the value back from all the other networks as well. All right. Thank you, Elena, for that answer. That was actually a lot shorter of an answer, but more succinct than I expected, and that's fantastic. Kevin, next question is for you on avoiding token fragmentation. So, and this actually is a fantastic lead segue from the last question. Some ecosystem projects like Goat, LazAI, for instance, may have or consider their own tokens. How are we ensuring that funding in Metis still results in accrual of value back into Metis, for example, through fee sharing, gas usage, buybacks, so on and so forth, and avoid token fragmentation, which could possibly happen in the future because of this kind of fragmented token dynamic?
Yes, but I want to clarify first, like, although Gold has its own token, we don't need funding from Metis side. That's why we, start from a new project, raise fund, and go to the public. And for LazAI, I don't think they're gonna have a token. That's why they, consider Metis as a gas token, and also use Metis for the validator staking and incentives. So I don't think that's a token fragmentation. It's more like how to think it from the overall ecosystem perspective. For LazAI, I think that's a great use case that we can reach real users. I think we're going to talk about X402 in later stage, but LazAI has that foundation to reach real use case, real users, and the more usage that people using LazAI, the more Metis will be used as well. So I think that's a great use case that it's not the fragmentation, it's more like bringing value back to Metis. But of course for Goat, I think we're building these connections between these two networks. I don't want just build for build, just connect each other for the purpose of connecting. I think it's still we need real use case to drive the connection between these two networks. Like what we see from the BTC side, that BTC holders, they want yield, very secure yield. So that's why we have this layer 2 on top of Bitcoin. But at the same time, all these, like large institutions, DAT companies, sovereign countries, they have not only, BTC, they also have other token assets like ETH or even some Solana or other, token assets. How to generate yield or how to bring more use cases for these large institutions. That's, an angle that Gold is trying to pitch with them, that we can bring, values to these assets. If you have BTC, you can use BTC to earn yield. If you have ETH, actually you can also use ETH on Metis, to generate some kind of yield as well. The detailed product's gonna be, still in the planning stage, to be honest, but that's the direction that, back to our initial point, we hope to have more touch points in different areas. So every use case that bring from one area, we hope to expand to the whole ecosystem. I think that's the value that we have different branches in the market. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah, I'll come clean. The framing of that question was in the frame of the community members. This question has been, again, come up quite a bit, and presented this way because that's the best way to actually showcase what we actually are doing behind the scenes, right? So, like I said, like Kevin said, it's not that Metis is funding everything. It's not like Metis is footing the bill for everything that Goat and LazAI is doing. The token structure, the value flow of it, it's all either in the planning stages or has just been announced, having been in the planning stages. And Kevin, the yield products and the government thing, that actually is very exciting, and I really hope to see a real tie back into Metis as soon as possible. But even if it's not as soon as possible, as long as we know that you are working towards it, similar to how LazAI was working towards linking everything back into Metis, I think that gives us a lot of confidence. And Kevin, you've built up a ton of goodwill with the community, so I think they trust you when you say it. So thank you for saying it. All right. Elena, this one is the interesting one, and we've been hinting at it all night, so let's actually get on to it. With this model upgrade unifying all Metis innovations under one value system, how could it accelerate the new wave of breakthroughs, such as the new initiative that you keep hinting at with X402?
Yeah, how do I say it without saying it? Yeah, X402, it is actually the next frontier on how AI and on-chain infrastructure meets with payment. And as Kevin said, this is something that will allow us to bring, Web 2 and Web 3 closer together. I don't want to give away too much detail right now, because that's really this, like this live stream is about, the community governance proposal. And that is, X402, even though it is connected to the growth reserve, but it's and like not to the growth reserve. It's connected to our plans in the 6 to 12 months. But yeah, I would rather to have more details to be revealed next week, because yes, we do have it coming.
Yeah, I think I can speak a little bit for the background. When we see X402, it's as Elaine mentioned, like it's a connection between Web3, Web2, and also AI agents. But you're gonna see, people are still don't quite understand what's the risk behind it. There's so many things not being done yet, like the facilitator, all these kind of transactions, how to verify it. You cannot just authorize to someone and not verifying it. That's where ZKP can play, and that's why ZKM can help. And also, there will be concrete use cases, like how to use all these agents to play with each other. That's gonna be the plan that we hope to release next week. But basically, what I wanted to emphasize is that the backend infra we have been building for the past 3 years actually can help to accelerate the X402 implementation in the whole Metis ecosystem. Yeah, I think that's our unique advantage. We have the right tag that we need. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Elena, sorry for putting you on the spot. And Kevin, sorry to, make you have to do that. But honestly, I think this is a fantastic showcase of exactly what basically Kevin and Elena, you've been talking about all night, right? It's that, look, we've been innovating because we see the need for these functions, these creations within the blockchain world, basically, not just for us, but for blockchain itself. And I think, it's almost like the Avengers, right? ZKP, Kevin just hinted at it. And I'm not going to say anything else because, I need to pretend like I don't know what's happening. But honestly, it is like the Avengers, right? If you need something smashed, you call Hulk, right? And if you need something invented, you call Tony Stark. So same thing for us. You need something verified, then you go ZKP, right? You look for products, yield-bearing products, anything BTC related. You go to Goat. You AI, go to Laz AI, right? So we have all of these different kind of parts with their own strengths and with their own tech, and we can call on them to create something fantastic and really kind of driving the next steps of the industry when the right timing and the right call arises, I think. So thank you very much for that fantastic answer, both of you. And we'll go for both of you again on this next question. Elena, if you could frame it from Laz AI's perspective, and Kevin for Goat. So Metis says gas on Laz AI sounds great. How does real demand, how much real demand will that actually create in about the next 6 months? And what does that actually mean for Metis?
Okay, so with the Laz AI, of course, had to start strong. High demand scenarios, like I said, like AI agents, X42 payments for the clear utility path, and then the most importantly for attracting the real users and real usage into Laz AI, Hyperion, and Metis. So that is that's what Metis as a guest. That's what it means. So to drive this in the next 6 months, that real demand, AI agent, the payments, and Kevin can talk about the GOAT.
Yeah, basically, I think the driven for this usage of Metis, it still comes from users. I emphasize a lot of times that the reason of we spend into different areas is that we hope to reach users, and that's one of the biggest issue for a lot of almost every project. If you look into the on-chain data, there are almost no users. So where the users really coming from? I think that's why we put or emphasize or focusing heavily on X402 from now, that we see the potential that real users to connect Web3, Web2, or even AI agents when they do transactions, it will consume Metis. So I would more answer from that perspective, that everything we are doing is that we hope to bring real users into the ecosystem. So to be honest, I don't know how much real demand gonna create in the next 6 months. I would more say let's do it and then let's review it after a few months. For a lot of times the forecasting won't help, but we believe in this direction. The real users drive real usage. That's my answer.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize also that because we have that great product on Laz AI, decentralized AI, like that, every request, every inference, every call to Laz AI, yes, will require Metis, and therefore, so here is the demand. Like to address your question directly, what does it mean for Metis?
Speaking to you too, it reminds me of just how much I need to work on my public speaking. Elena with her inspirational speech, and Kevin, this is actually a very I respect your ability to say I don't know so much, right? Being able to say you don't know, but still exude so much confidence, and everything is backed by your track record, your talent. So that's something I definitely need to work towards. Thank you for those fantastic answers. That was the last of the prepared questions that we had. It was
I also,
fantastic.
can I also mention something? And you see, guys, we haven't been doing, like, me and Kevin together live streams for a while, right?
Mhm.
Because yes, we've been working on the various projects, and now that we've come back together, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Seriously, to me, this is an Avengers Assemble moment, right? It is super exciting. And honestly, like the prepared questions was basically to get across the key messages that we did want to talk about from the proposal, right? And I think hearing it from the two of you, excuse me, explain it in that way also solidifies it, not just in my mind, but I think also the community's mind on exactly what direction that we're taking it. Because, of course, if we just release a proposal, we release a blog, it's quite impersonal, and you don't really get across the intent of why you're doing it very well, especially with powerful, I guess, personal brands such as yours, where the way you work and the principles that you operate on are very obvious and plain, right? Elena, you're about decentralization. You're about that visionary. You're about that innovation. And Kevin, you're just a brilliant mind, and you're just about facts. You get things done, right? So putting that together, I think it gives a lot of context behind why we wanted to go ahead with the proposal, why we're doing it now, and what we can expect from it in the near future. So I think that wraps up the prepared questions quite well. And then we have community questions that we also prepared. We're quite near, we're actually at the 51-minute mark. So I think we can just go through the 3 community questions that we've picked. And then I think that represents actually a pretty good portion of the concerns, or at least the talking points from the community. So I think we can just quickly get started on that. Kevin, first question.
Mhm.
Community member has asked for clarity on decision authority to avoid concentration of power within the eager. Could you detail the checks and balances that we've created and put in place?
The decision authority, I don't think it's concentrated. I think we follow the practice that how our decentralized organization should act. Metis Foundation acting as a curator, we see the necessary to make the change, and then the governance team initiate the proposal, and announce it, publish it, also initiate the snapshot voting. I think it's your voice need to be heard, that if you agree with this approach or not. That's I don't think that's a concentration. If that is the concentration, the power is the community, is concentrated in the community, not us. I think that's our stand. We follow the practice of decentralized organizations should act. Yeah.
Right. And I think to give a bit more clarity on the actual question itself, it was that how the eager will be used, right? The growth reserve, and how the decision making goes on behind the scenes to basically deploy or not deploy capital from the eager, right? And yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah. That's the part I think we, as the foundation, will release more details down the road. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very large initiative. There's still a lot of details need to be fine-tuned. So please see more proposals or plans coming out in the near future. I think the key gonna be transparent. Every the expenditure or expense of this eager, or the allocation of the eager will be notified to the community and be voted when necessary. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that was probably the biggest concern that was from the community. And hearing you say that, I think puts a lot of minds at ease, right?
I also would like to add, if I can.
Yeah.
So the reality, so like we are, you guys, I'm deeply in heart have, decentralization. That's why I'm in this project, right? And that's why we, building all these decentralized companies. But in the reality of business as such, that sometimes you need to make a decision very fast. Otherwise, you lose the competitive advantage. And therefore, we cannot afford to have like the multiple proposals every day, like give the 5 days to vote, have that. So it has taken too much time, and therefore, so we have that proposal where we are outlined everything, how it will be used, and then of course we wish we can vote on any further transaction of this eager, but like business realities are dictating us that we need to have that balance, same as you see, like, for example, in the world, you see how the democracies are being built, right? So it's very turbulent, and not everybody likes the results. So just maintaining that balance between complete decentralization and then like that business coordination is that's what is happening right now. And we also, like, we always been transparent, and that's why we have all this voting and everything, and then we are highlighting every step in the Twitter, Telegram, so what's going on. And and please do ask questions, and thank you so much for this question as well. I'm very, very much welcoming feedback and questioning us, so that is great and healthy. That's what decentralization is about.
Yeah, thank you for that color, Elena, and I think that really drives the story home that you can look at our track record, right? What we do and how we do things. When I first joined Metis, I was actually very surprised at how much we actually care about governance and how seriously the governance team takes their jobs.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
aside from Ethereum, no, like they don't put that much
think-
effort into it, right?
I think Daniel, you grew very fond of governance.
Oh, I love that governance team.
Down the road, because at the beginning I remember it's like, oh, why do we have that?
Yeah, no, I have nicknames for each of the team members. We get along great. But yes, very important to have that transparency. Make sure that we're accountable for basically all that we do, and exactly like Elena said, it is also about basically being agile enough, right? So it's a balance, but of course, it's not everything is thrown out the window for the favor of balance. It's not like we're just going to dump the entire thing into one crazy initiative because it just needs to happen at that speed. If something is that impactful, then of course, even if it requires speed, we would still, of course, try and be as transparent as possible about it. Try and get that governance vote passing if it really is that impactful, right? So, thank you very much, both of you, for that answer. Elena, next community question. So this was a bit of a surprise for many, actually. It was a bit of a built-in stealth kind of thing for the governance proposal. So what actually did lead up to this decision, and what did it look like behind the scenes? Why did it just kind of pop out and surprise some people?
Thank you, Daniel. I read some, questions and feedback from community. I saw majority was like kind of pleasant surprise. But really, if you look at that, so we were, as I said at the beginning, we were building an economy. We are building an economy. So it is kind of surprised, but it was anticipated that it had to happen, down the road. What probably was like element of surprise that at the beginning when we, forming this, token economy, we couldn't, predict on how we do in every area, right? So because when we made the decision to build, ZK proofs and go and expand beyond Ethereum ecosystem, so we didn't know how successful it would be. So how like, and again, Laz AI idea was like 4 or 5 years, I believe. We also like, and that was stayed as an idea like for like 4 years out of 5. So like, and it was like, forming and brewing, and like, how can we predict, and especially in the market, nobody can predict what's going to be happening in the world with everything that's going on right now. So yes, there is an element of a surprise, but if you look at it, you see that we always been building that economy. We always been expanding the ecosystem, so our economy is going to be in a different area. So in that part, it's not a surprise. Maybe it was a surprise that initial allocation that we planned, now is rolling out in the different areas as well. So yes, we need the Metis token for Laz AI. Token on like kind of for Laz AI gas as well. So, and for the staking for the validators. So who could have predicted that? Like maybe we could at the beginning, but we didn't know how successful it would be. We didn't know again that our ZK would be one of the top ones in the CKP. We didn't know that we would have that competitive advantage. X42 been a while for, or like quite a while. Nobody used it, and only now, when the time is right, it's coming into play. So yes, it might have been a surprise in somewhat, but actually, it's a very logical surprise. That's how I would say.
Yeah, Elena, fully agree with you on all those points, and I think for a lot of, many of our very loyal community members, they knew something like this was coming, just not when, right? Because we kept talking, talking about how we're going to unify the ecosystem, how we're going to take steps to make sure that this is all one kind of ecosystem that captures all that value, and making sure that everything plays nice with each other. I think maybe I need to reflect back on how we can communicate better, give a bit more of a better heads up that something is coming. But also, this did, exactly like Elena said, due to circumstance, it did come up with a need that was not maybe planned 6 months ahead, right? So it was definitely something that we were building towards, and it did come out that, okay, this is kind of the plan and direction we're going to take it, and boom, we have the proposal live, and here we're talking about it, making sure that we can communicate exactly why we're doing it as well. So thank you, Elena. And the very last question before we can all basically close this AMA, Kevin, last question. So the community sent this question. They seem unsure about a specific use of the eager mentioned in the proposal, and that was the initial gas liquidity support. Could you explain what this means and why this isn't just, for example, an injection of Metis into the open markets?
Yeah, for sure. I think the meaning for initial gas liquidity support are used for some, cross-chain transfer gas support. You can take it as how much you bridge from from, let's say, Ethereum or Metis to let's say Laz AI to do the staking or other initiative. You will need some initial Metis token. That won't be a large amount. It's more like a small amount airdrop. So I don't think this is gonna affect this the Metis open market. At the same time, since all the validators on Laz AI are gonna use Metis to lock Metis, to stake Metis, so I would more say it will create the demand as well. So I understand the community are concerned that this 20% of the supply gonna be inject into the open market. I don't think that's gonna happen. We have some expense we also have the demand. So I think the key thing is how to make it a balance. And of course, the better scenario is that how this usage of Metis is going to be larger than the expense of Metis. So yeah, but we are here for the long term. Again, I want to assure every community members. So we won't see the price of meat is gonna be tanked with the new initiative. That's not what we meant. We are here for the long term to grow the users, grow the use case, and yeah, eventually we hope to bring value to the utility of Metis, and I think that's the key. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think that answer was sorely needed for a lot of community members as well, because we can write as much as we want in the announcement, in the proposal, about how we're going to mitigate these risks and what we're going to use it for, but because that 20% number is such a high, it can be a high number depending on how it's used. And because it's such an easy number to wrap your head around, it's easy to focus on it, right? So you start ignoring other things, and then you can start looking at the risks in a lot more of a scarier light. But I think for us, exactly like Kevin said, we're in it for the long run, and this is a balance between what goes out and what comes in, right? Basically in terms of demand and supply. And not just in Eager. For example, if we were careless on the actual dynamics between supply and demand, then this problem would have come to light a lot earlier than now, I think, right? Because as a project, there's a lot of things that you can do to make it a lot worse, right? But we're trying to do all we can to make sure that we're actually driving those use cases, building that value long term. And exactly like Kevin keeps mentioning, trying to get the users on board as well. So that's a great wrap up, I think. And I think that really encapsulates where we're headed towards and what we're trying to build towards, right? So it is about driving that value. It is about gaining that demand for, obviously, not just Metis, but also all the portfolio companies, all the ecosystem, basically drive demand for the technologies, the innovations that we're building, and of course, the synergies that we're building between them as well, right? And I think that synergy is going to be showcased by the X402 integration that we're going to announce relatively soon. And that one, I think, once that goes live, I think everybody can kind of see it and say, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense now, right? Of how things work together. So that's something I'm super excited about. And with the foundations that are set by this governance proposal, I think not only can the community understand what we're actually building towards, like we're giving it shape now, right? We're building the foundation to actually give us the mechanisms to execute on all of these initiatives. And with that, I think the community and us internally, we understand exactly how we're building, what we have the foundation for, what the first floor is going to look like, what the middle floors are going to look like, how we're going to build the elevators, and what we're going to cap the tower with. So I thank you very much for your participation, Kevin and Elena. And again, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit of a fanboy, but this is a bit of an Avengers Assemble moment. So that was super cool for me. And Kevin, always great seeing you at events. Elena, I look forward to seeing you the next time again. And thank you very much again for being here. Community, thank you very much for being part of this. It's not just that you're here to basically watch and we get the view count, right? But by being here, it shows that we're at least doing something right when we have important announcements like this. And by you being here asking these questions, it shows us that, okay, the way we think of governance is actually happening because we're getting that discussion started, right? So thank you very much. As always, And this AMA has taught me at the very minimum that I need to basically improve the community communications from the Metis side to give maybe a bit more of a heads up, a bit of a better direction of where we're heading. And my personal takeaway is, take lessons from Elena and Kevin on public speaking. So thank you very much. And it was good having you. If you have any last words, would love to hear it, Elena and Kevin.
Thank you, guys. So now it's up to you. You vote. We will do what you tell us.
Yeah, go vote. Thank you.
See, short and sweet, way better than my long speech. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing your votes affect the outcome of the proposal. And I'm sure we're all in the same boat together. We're all in the same vision together. So let's go vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.